like to thank the Philippine Space Agency for allowing the Australian Embassy to be part of the week-long celebration of the Philippine Space Week. Now, this is a very special occasion because we will be talking about how Filipino students and professionals can take their passion for space to the next level with Australian universities. Our agenda today will include a welcome message from the Australian Embassy, followed by scholarship opportunities from the Philippine Space Agency and the Australian government, and then university presentations on space programs, question and answer, and finally, closing remarks from PhilSA. So before we dive in, a couple of quick housekeeping notes. This session will run for about an hour and a half. And as I mentioned, we will have time for Q&A towards the end. So feel free to drop your questions anytime in the Q&A box. And we are recording this session. So to start us off, I am thrilled to introduce Ms. Bernice Vanguardia, Trade and Investment Commissioner at the Australian Embassy, for her welcome remarks. Over to you, Bernice.
Thank you, Kim, and a big thank you to the Philippine Space Agency for this opportunity, and of course my star colleague Kim Cuesta, to briefly talk to you about the opportunities and bilateral relationship that underpins Australia and the Philippines as part of the kickoff for this webinar this morning. You may not know, but Australia and the Philippines share a deep and enduring relationship. In fact, next year marks 80 years of diplomatic engagement between the two countries. As strategic partners, this lays the foundation for both nations to cultivate and nurture our productive potential, innovation, and creativity. And initiatives like these are the perfect example of that collaboration. On Australia's space industry, it combines emerging technologies and ideal geographies. Australia is a growing hub for in-space manufacturing and on-orbit servicing. The industry is worth about 8 billion Australian dollars per year and growing fast. And through education and collaboration, we align with the shared goals of the Philippine Space Agency. On education and people-to-people links, I'm so proud to say that Australia remains the top study destination for Filipinos. And why? Because we are a welcoming, friendly, and multicultural society. And that is the fabric of our identity. And more importantly, we have world-class universities. 95% of Australian universities are ranked globally by the Times Higher Education. And I understand today we've got a great lineup of institutions from Adelaide University to the Australian National University, University of Southern Queensland, and the University of Sydney, thanks to iLaunch and Milika, who has joined this call. So you could compare, I guess, from the cultural side of Australia to the beaches and also to the cultural hubs. It's a huge range for you to choose from. The skills and employment-focused courses and programs at Australian universities are a perfect jumpstart or launch into your career, and research programs can foster and deepen sectoral engagement. On that note, a big thank you again to the organisers. I encourage you to stay on, be curious, ask a lot of questions, and get ready for what will be a stellar presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernice. Truly, the Philippines and Australia's bilateral relationship has gone from strength to strength over the years. And our collaboration on this event and upcoming initiatives is testament to that. So now we move on to the meat of our session today. We are going to be talking about space programs and postgraduate opportunities, starting off with the Philippine Space Agency's Ad Astra Scholarship Program. We'll find out what it is, eligibility requirements, and the application process. So now I'm handing the floor to Mr. Marco Melgar, who is the Senior Science Research Specialist at PhilSA.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much, Kim. Good morning to everyone. Magandang umaga sa lahat. Let me just share my screen. There you go. I hope you can see my screen. If you can, please do a thumbs up. So again, my name is Marco. I am from the Space Education and Scholarships Division of the Philippine Space Agency. I'd like to thank Austrade, the Australian Embassy in Manila, our Australian universities who are to present later, and of course our friends from PhilSA who have organized this webinar. So thank you for inviting us, and thank you for allowing us to present the Ad Astra scholarships. This is one of the flagship programs of the Philippine Space Agency, but this one is focused on the education and capacity building aspect of our agency. So let's start the presentation. Before I begin introducing Ad Astra, allow me to introduce first the Philippine Space Agency. So we're celebrating our 6th year, and it was established in 2019 with the passing of the Philippine Space Act. So we're directly serving under the office of the President, and we are guided by a Philippine Space Council. So this council helps us coordinate policies and resources across different agencies. And you'll see here these logos on the right side. So we are this council is represented by strategic ministries. You can see here ministries of science and technology, national defense, agriculture, environment, natural resources, and many others. So the workforce of I mean the network of agencies that belong in this space council are pretty much strategic because these are the ones that use space data and makes use of these data in strategic decisions for our country. Yes. And of course, as an agency, our work revolves around these 6 key development areas. So you can see here national security and development, space R&D, hazard management and climate change, space industry, capacity building, and international cooperation. And you can see here space education and awareness. And that's where Ad Astra scholarships fall under. And among the flagship programs of the agency would be space data mobilization and advanced satellite development. And these are supported by various programs in the education and awareness realm. As you remember, space education and awareness is one of our key development areas, and these are complementary programs to our flagship activities in building satellites and making sense of space data that we gather from this satellite. And this space data value chain just shows you how space data and space outcomes become something actionable and tangible for our Filipino people because our mantra is to create value for every Filipino. So everything we do with our and the satellites that we put in space, the data we receive, the satellites, the scientists rather that analyze these data, up to the LGUs using these data for making decisions. So this is the value that we try uh, to create from our outputs, and all it's the point is to create real world impact from our activity. So you can see here other components in this chain, and all of them are important in the whole process of creating value for all. And next, our focus for space education and awareness is, of course, to build human capital in space science and technology application. So to put it simply, we need more people. We need people to build our capacity and to fast track the development of our space ecosystem. So that means building capacity in our schools, integrating space in the curriculum, and promoting courses, programs in the higher education level and even graduate level through scholarships, and training people, professionals in the industry to make use of these outcomes from our space activities. So our reach expands from the K to 12 level to the higher education level and up to our partners and the government, the LGUs, and the users of our data. So now, moving into the Ad Astra, our program, it's called Advanced Degrees for Accelerating Strategic Space R&D Applications Scholarships. So this is our flagship program in space education, and it's meant to support graduate studies both for local and international studies, as well as short-term research, or we call it standalone sandwich program for talented Filipino students. So again, it's established to enable outstanding Filipino students to pursue international or local graduate studies in line with our key development areas, the 6 key development areas that I've mentioned earlier. But our priority areas under AdAstra can be divided into these 4 priority areas. So we have here space data applications, spacecraft systems development, engineering, and robotics. We have programs for space law, policy, and entrepreneurship, and multidisciplinary studies. So I won't go into single areas here, but for those who are interested in data or Earth observation, geospatial technology, we got it covered under space data applications. For those into building satellites or payloads and all, these programs are under spacecraft systems development, engineering, and robotics. Of course, we have special focus on space law, policy, and entrepreneurship, and we are glad that the lineup of Australian universities later, they will present programs that are directly linked in this area. And of course, we support multidisciplinary areas such as astronomy, astrobiology, astrophysics, and the like. And we can even support programs focused on STEM education and space science communication. So again, our types of scholarships that we support are there are 3 categories: foreign scholarships, we have local scholarships, and standalone sandwich programs. And you can avail of full support or partial support, meaning if you are ongoing, if you are on ongoing graduate student with support coming from another source, you can avail of partial scholarships under AdAstra. And you can enter as a regular entrant, no? Meaning you are to commence your studies, or as a lateral entrant, meaning again, you are starting or you've already started your program and you wish to avail of the scholarship support from AdAstra, that can be done as well. So what do we offer under the scholarships? This is the full package of benefits that each AdAstra scholar expects to avail. So we can pay for the full tuition and other school fees, and we provide monthly living expenses that's up to where you're located. So if you're to study in Australia, in one of the universities to present later, we can uh, uh, accurately assess the type or the amount of monthly living allowance you expect to receive. We also provide book allowances, technological support, so we can support you in purchasing a laptop to help you in your studies. We provide for thesis, dissertation, and internship allowance. And if this is not enough, we can even provide for an additional research grant. And our scholars who are to present their paper in various conferences, or if they are to publish their work, we can provide research dissemination grant as well. Can also provide mentors fee, pre-departure allowances, two-way transportation allowances, relocation allowances, and if need me, we can provide disability support. So these are the range of entitlements that each AdAstra scholar is entitled to. As for the program pool, these are for the current AdAstra scholars. So we have many scholars under space data applications. These are their courses. We also have many scholars under spacecraft systems development, engineering, and robotics. So we have many scholars who are involved in satellite development, particularly our scholars in local scholars building the Maya 7 satellite of the Philippines. Under space law policy and entrepreneurship, you see here there's a noticeable gap. So we really invite students to pursue areas in this field, in these disciplines, and we can support your studies under Astro Scholarship. And under multidisciplinary studies, we have one scholar who just finished her astrobiology studies in Italy. So in terms of the numbers, we're a pretty young program. So we just have 19 scholars as of the moment since 2021, and most of our scholars are part of the nanosatellite development, as I mentioned, and there are a couple of scholars taking up remote sensing specializations, and the rest are spread out to physics, aerospace engineering, satellite data utilization, and astrobiology. In terms of distribution and placement, so we have scholars who took up studies in Austria, France, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and of course, most of them are here in the Philippines. So several Australian universities are actually in our list of institutions, and these institutions are the ones offering programs that are directly relevant to our priority areas. And so we are pleased to have, again, we are pleased to have Australian universities presenting later on. So we are hoping that this event can create an avenue to turn this prospects into actual placements, particularly in Australian universities. In terms of our eligibility and application process, I just invite everyone to check out our website. We have a full detail of how to apply, the eligibility requirements, and the documentary requirements that you need to submit to us to be to be accepted in this scholarship program. And finally, I think this is my last slide now. So I'd like to share the cases of the individuals who have braved the path of space through the Adastra scholarships. And in time, we hope that each of them and the many that will follow soon will return with advanced knowledge, research expertise, global perspectives that will fuel national development, drive scientific progress, and strengthen a self-reliant Philippine space ecosystem. So these are our scholars from batch 1 since 2021 to batch 4 in 2024. And we expect to have a couple more to be part of this pool this year as batch 5 of the ATAS scholarship. So that would be all for my part. Thank you for listening. If you have questions, you can send us an email at scholarships@philsa.gov.ph, and I'll stay throughout the webinar to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marco, for that informative presentation. Everyone, if you have questions at any point in the presentation, please feel free to send your questions through our Q&A box. So for our next presentation, we've heard from PhilSA, from the Philippine Space Agency on their scholarship program. Now we will be hearing from Mr. Rolly de la Cruz, Portfolio Manager of the Australia Awards at the Australian Embassy. Over to you, Rolly.
Thank you, Kim. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. So I'm Rolly de la Cruz. I look after the Australia Awards scholarships here at the Australian Embassy in the Philippines. I'd like to reinforce my colleague Bernie's message around Australia would want to do more in the Philippines as strategic partners with our Philippine government. And we have a deep and enduring friendship, and one of that is the Australian government continues to support upskilling of Filipinos through the Australia Awards Scholarship Program. So next slide, please. So I'm sharing to you a short video about the program.
The Australia Awards are prestigious international scholarships and fellowships funded by the Australian Government. They offer the next generation of global leaders an opportunity to undertake study, research, and professional development in Australia and overseas. Currently offering up to 5,000 awards each year from over 150 eligible countries. They build enduring links in Australia at the people, country and professional level. They demonstrate the Australian Government's commitment to empowering a global network of talented individuals with the power to influence positive change.
I get to go back home and build on infrastructures and also do some community work with young people.
I think it's really special to be a young ambassador for Australia. It's a great opportunity to both become part of and contribute to a different culture.
The knowledge that I'm acquiring from Australia is going to go a long way in trying to help my country get back on track.
I'm a customs officer back at home. My lecturers, they have more than 30 years of experience in customs. So the knowledge, whatever we are gaining from here, is just invaluable. We can't put into words.
That's why I get offered the scholarship in the first place, to come here and study here, get this qualification, and then go back to my country and start helping out with the development out there.
You will have fantastic opportunities to become future leaders in your country.
To find out more about the Australia Awards program, visit www.australiaawards.gov.au.
All right, next slide, please. So as mentioned, Australia Awards is a prestigious international scholarship program that the Australian government provides to the Filipinos. It's not only prestigious, it's also transformational and life-changing. So most of our Filipinos who have gone through this program have benefited not just from the technical skills, but also their leadership skills with their back here in the Philippines. Prestigious in a way that we have benchmarked this foreign international scholarship program, and Australia offers the most generous scholarship program through the Australia Awards here in the Philippines. Next slide. Australia Awards is also a life-changing scholarship opportunities. I'd like to reiterate the word of a message of our colleague Bernice that it is also life-changing because when you study in Australia, we have a diverse, very friendly, and multicultural community. So you learn not just within the academic walls, but you also learn from your colleagues who are doing their postgraduate degree study in Australia. And this is life-changing because some of these Filipinos have gone through the program, they have progressed in their careers, and they are making a difference back here in the Philippines after doing their study in Australia. These are the benefits and entitlements if you are able to avail of the program. So we provide full tuition fees. We also provide student health coverage. We also provide all expenses related to pastoral care and a round trip ticket going to Australia and back to the Philippines. What's unique with the Australia Award Scholarship is when you come from, people, or when you have disability, we also provide disability support. So that's how inclusive our scholarship program is. We also provide contribution to living expenses. What this means is we are providing funding for your rental and your food allowance while you are doing your master's degree in Australia. We also provide supplementary academic support. We do this to help you finish and successfully complete your academic program in Australia. So that's how generous the Australia Hawaii Scholarship is. We spend around 180,000 Australian dollars for one Filipino to successfully complete their postgraduate degree in Australia. So space science and technology is one of the priority fields of study that we are looking at. So we thank the Philippine Space Agency for inviting us and promote this scholarship program. While we have a number of priority fields of study, space science and technology is one of the priority areas that Australia is looking at to support the Philippines to help upskill Filipinos doing postgraduate in Australia. And I'm proud to say that we have a number of Australia-educated Filipinos working for the Philippine Space Agency. As we understand it, we have at least 4 that we know of. So these are the areas that we are looking at supporting Filipinos who are doing their master's degree in Australia. So the areas of focus actually align to Australia-Philippines Development Partnership Plan, or DPP. And DPP is actually one of those areas that we committed to support the Philippines as strategic partner. So these are the areas that we are looking at. And space science and space technology is one of those focus areas that we have committed to support the Philippines upskill the workforce. So you can also Google this and look at the details in the link provided. The application process for Australia Award is open and competitive, and we are providing equal opportunity to all, regardless of gender, ethnicity, and disability. And one of the good things about the Australia Awards is we don't have age limit, so everyone can apply through the Australia Awards program. If I remember it right, 3 years ago, the oldest applicant we had was 62 years old, and she successfully, gotten the scholarship and took up her master's degree in Australia. So we are the most inclusive scholarship program as we don't have age limit. So these are the general eligibility requirements for you to be able to apply for this Australia Awards Scholarship Program. You must be a Filipino citizen and at least residing here in the country for the last 12 months, have completed a bachelor's degree, and more or less have 2 years cumulative professional work experience. And everyone in the room, so I see around 118 individuals listening to this presentation. So if you met this eligibility requirements, we encourage you to apply for this scholarship opportunity offered by the Australian government. Next slide. So you can also find out if you're eligible by scanning the QR code. And we usually open the application process every year. 1 February is the opening of the scholarships, and submission of your requirement is up to 30 April every year. So you have a long time to prepare for your application, so I encourage you to apply when this scholarship program opens up on February 1 next year. Next slide, please. So the application process starts with you online, and we do the paper screening. We usually receive around 800 to 1,000 applications, and we hope to send 40 to 60 Filipinos annually to study in Australia. So after the paper screening, we usually do a panel interview. We have representation from the Philippine government, the private sector, and the Australian embassy. And after the panel interview, we do the final selection. And we also organize pre-mobilization activities. This include course counseling, placement, and pre-departure briefing. Course counseling includes opportunity for you to meet with Australian universities and understand which Australian university offers the best program that you plan to study in Australia. So this is how the application process looks like. So it takes around 3 to 8 months for you to learn if you are successful when you apply for this scholarship program. Next slide. So what we're looking at for our scholars, we're looking at your academic performance when you had your undergraduate. So we look at that. We also look at your professional achievements. What have you done during your professional years and your opportunity to contribute to Philippine development. So we look at this through your re-entry action plan. So when you apply for Australia Award scholarship in the Philippines, we look at your leadership potential. We look at your ability to make a difference after you have completed your study in Australia. So we assess that through the re-entry action plan. So it's like a project brief or a project proposal that you intend to do after you have completed your study in Australia. So these are the selection criteria we're looking at for a potential Filipino to study in Australia through the Australia Award scholarships. Next slide. So re-entry action plan, this is a unique component of the Australia Award scholarships as it allows Filipino scholar to actually apply what you have learned in Australia to contribute to Philippine development. So in this case, we are looking at potential applicants to take up space science and technology, and we want you to contribute to Philippine development in the area of space science and technology. So that's what we are looking for. So when you propose what you're gonna do after your study in Australia, so we look at this re-entry action plan, and in particular for space science and technology field. Next slide, please. So this is the cost of the scholarship we spend for a Filipino. So it's about 7 to 8 million peso for a year or two scholarship program in Australia or in Australia. So this is really a life-changing and a priceless scholarship opportunity being offered by the Australian government. Next slide, please. So Ramon Pio is one of our alumni who studied in Australia, and Ramon Pio contributed in the financial technology space in the Philippines after he completed his study in the University of New South Wales in Australia. He took up Master of Commerce in Enterprise Systems and Business Design. So Ramon Pio was awarded by the Australian government as alumni in innovation. And after this slide, I'd like to share you a short video about Ramon and how he contributes back to the Philippines after he completed his study in Australia.
When Pio returned from his studies, he came in with all these new ideas, one of which was the fintech course. I'm glad Pio actually took that step, pioneered it, introduced it, and continues on.
So my reentry action plan is about introducing a fintech or financial technology course in the University of the Philippines. So financial technology, it's just using technology to deliver better services sa finance, no? And it's suddenly, almost overnight, people saw fintech as not just something that is an enhancement, but a necessity.
The course of Pio offered was an interdisciplinary broad-based approach that combined finance with things like systems, infrastructure, financial innovation, analytics, AI, amongst others. But at the same time, he infused it with real-world situations.
I studied in the University of New South Wales in Australia under the program of Enterprise Systems and Business Design. And with generous support from Australia Awards, I was able to finish it at the top of my program. Australia, with its developed economy, is way more ahead than Philippines in many aspects of financial technology. And I just thought it would be very appropriate, no, to learn as much knowledge from Australia and bring that back home here in the Philippines.
Natutuwa yung students sa may natututunan silang bago na hindi sobrang focus sa parang business lang ano.
So I think for most of us, ang first exposure with fintech would be the e-wallets or digital wallets. But other than that, I don't think many people know the extent of fintech. That was also one of the reasons why I took the course, kasi I wanted to know more.
So when I was designing that fintech course, the bigger vision kasi is to create that very talented pool of professionals and make sure the Philippines is ready, no, for the next part of this, digital transformation.
So for questions, please reach out to Secretariat Australia Awards Philippines.org, and later on we encourage you to ask questions on how you can successfully apply for Australia Awards scholarships. Thank you and maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, Rolly. That was a very good ending to your presentation. Really inspiring. So now that we've heard about available scholarships, let's proceed with what you could study with Australian universities. First up is Mr. Harris Gunawan from Adelaide University. I think he is going to share his own presentation. Are you ready, Harris?
Yes.
Great. Okay, take it away.
No worries. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, everyone. So let me start with this one. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Ako po si Haris Gunawan, Kintawan ng Adelaide University sa Pilipinas. So I'm the country representative for Adelaide University, the newest group of 8 for Australia. And today I'm gonna talk you through about what we can offer in related to the space related programs. So this is where we are. We are the capital city of South Australia. If you by any chance didn't know where our campus is located, here they are. We are strategically located in the middle of Australia. And the capital itself is well known for city that are offering more laid-back lifestyle. We are not too crowded, but we are not too quiet. So we manage the amount of people just right. So Adelaide is nominated as one of the best and the most livable cities in the world based on the Economics Intelligence Unit Index, and recently also been named as the happiest city for Australia. So as you see, that's how our CBD looks like. So I think it's still one of the city where you can see a lot of greeneries for Australia. But that's not the best part of studying and living in Adelaide, because Adelaide now is also one of the most affordable capital city for Australia. So I'm pretty sure you can enjoy the most of your life when you're studying with us. And regarding the topic that we are talking today about the space, Adelaide, South Australia itself has the ambitions to become an international leader in the space industry by 2035. One of the reasons is because Adelaide is at the forefront of Australia's space industry, and Adelaide itself is the home for Australia's Space Agency, which we know as a NASA for Australia. So as Bernice has said, this industry is still growing a lot, and the sector is forecast to continue to grow in the over next 10 years. But Australia's Space Agency is not by themselves, because in Adelaide, next to our campus, we have this premises called Lot 14. So that's the premises for technology, cybersecurity, and space company hub. So on that same Lot 14, we also have 100 plus space related organizations. So it makes us as the what we call undisputed national center of Australia's space industry. So this is just some of the companies that probably the most well-known that I put in here. So Adelaide itself, the university itself, we are kind of new because we currently merging with the University of South Australia. And at the moment, we are offering more than 400 programs. But don't worry, today I'm not going to talk about those 400 programs. I have filtered what programs that might be equivalent to the space study. So we are ranked number 82 in the world. What a strong start for a kind of new university. And these are the faculties that we had. So talking about the space-related industry itself, I think the programs that we are offering is a bit more in the multidisciplinary area. So we cannot say that, hey, this College of Engineering is definitely have the space-related study, but we also have some similar offering from, let's say, College of Science, and we also have some programs in College of Business and Law. But before we go into the programs, I'm just going to talk you briefly about these research centers. So it's called Andy Thomas Center for Space Resources. If you are wondering who is Andy Thomas is, so Andy Thomas is this guy raising the Australian flag. So it's the first man from Australia that went into the space, and he is actually our alumni. So that's why we make his name as the name of our space research centers. So this Andy Thomas Center for Space Resources brings together the Adelaide University collective explorations, mining. We also have some research in manufacturing and also other engineering research to address the challenge faced by the planetary explorations. So the real aim of this research institute is to answer and better understand our challenge related to the space explorations. So like what resources exist on the planet, how do we extract this resource, how we make this space infrastructure. So there's just some of the few of the key research that we have conducted within this Andy Thomas research centers. So these research centers is built around 9 space research and what we call as educations modules. So this is also in line with the ISRU value chain as proposed by NASA. So those 6 operations module involved in explorations, extractions, processings, constructions like permanent and transportable infrastructures, including habitations, what else, industrial facility, and also lab, and also the manufacturers. Last but not least, we also touch base a little bit in the sustainability because we have our specific campus for agriculture studies. So we do have some research projects that related to food productions to be used in space as well. This is just some of the activities other than the key research area that we have conducted. So Andy Thomas Center for Space Resources, we have this annual Australia Rover Challenge. So it's probably the first challenge to design and build a rover to complete a full-scale simulated lunar missions. Our architecture study also have this Australian Space Architecture Challenge, where probably is also one of the first. And last but not least, we also have these off-Earth constructions that are dedicated in facilitating the development of constructions in off-Earth environment. Some of the key facility that we do actually have more than 3 facility, but I think this one is the most related the most. So I want to take you through the what we call as X-stress simulations lab. So it's basically a lab where we can specifically simulate off-Earth environment. So this is also where we did the river testing pits. So these are the highly controlled pits covered by 3D motion capture systems, and also it's used for an experimental robotics programs as well. So it's used by the mechatronic or robotics students. So what programs that we offer that are related to space study? As I mentioned, it's a very interdisciplinary programs. So we do have what we call as a Master of Law, where we do have study areas in the space law. So we do what we call as commercial space law. We also have strategic space law, where the course discuss a lot of legal and policy issue associated with the commercial space industry. We also have technology and engineering degree, as I mentioned. Our operational models or our capability is around energy engineering, autonomy. If you're thinking to study like Master of Artificial Intelligence or Informations Technology, we have these highly reliable autonomy programs in machines learning. And also, of course, the mechatronics. So it's about low maintenance vehicles. What else? Optimized vehicle for extreme or off-earth constructions. Last but not least, since we have this Andy Research Thomas, we also offering Master of Philosophy or Doctor of Philosophy. So there's our two main research of Earth constructions, looking at the design and manufactures or building infrastructures in harsh environments such as Moon and Mars. Last but not least, we are also have the off-Earth habitation research utilities, where, as I mentioned, we are currently researching to have a space plans. So I think that's pretty much what I could share about Adelaide University, guys. So I mean, if you have any questions, feel free to explore our degrees or feel free to check our website for more in details of the programs. So yeah, Kim, I think that's pretty much it. 10 minutes is up. So give the stage back to you. And thanks again for the opportunity. Maraming salamat po.
Thanks so much, Harris. And you're getting better with your Tagalog. So, everyone, again, if just a reminder, if you have any questions at any point in the presentation, please feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A box. So, next, now we will be hearing from the Australian National University. Please welcome Miss Wyan Chan from ANU.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to join today's sessions. I'm actually Wyan from the Australian National University. Basically, what I'm going to cover is about ANU. ANU actually, basically, we are located in Canberra, the capital city of Australia. Our population size are not as big as most of the universities, the group of 8 universities in Australia. Our population size currently is about 22,000, and we actually have a very best student-staff ratio in Australia, where it could be as small as 11:1 students in some of the classes, and we have the highest staff qualification also as well. In terms of most employability graduate in Australia, we are number 1 for the past 3 years, and we have the most diverse students actually coming from all different nationality. There is 100 over countries that you will be able to mix around with students coming from all different. That's why we always call ANU is a small united nation, and we are the only one actually in Australia that actually we are in a group of IAIU. That is where we actually have an alliance research opportunity for our students to join students from Oxford, Cambridge, Yale, Peking University, things like that in the research also as well. And 6 out of the 15 Nobel laureate in Australia actually come from ANU, and one of it actually Nobel laureate in physics itself. I'm going to share with you a short video about ANU. And this is actually basically a snapshot about the campus. ANU actually is only 79 years university. It's basically built by the Member of Parliament, and actually as a research intensive university. That's why a lot of our buildings are very new, and we actually have a lot of high-tech facility, world-class facilities on campus. And this is some of the snapshot about how the campus look like also as well. And this is the video that I'm going to share with you.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Bell, the 13th Vice-Chancellor and President of the Australian National University, or ANU for short. ANU is a place where renowned teachers and researchers will shape and reshape how you see the world, and it's a place where you'll make incredible connections. It's a place to hold hard conversations and challenge the way you think and learn from people who have to...
Sorry about that. Sorry. have to share again. I think I accidentally pressed something.
Different views and perspectives from your own. As our Chancellor, former Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Honourable Julie Bishop often reflects, being at the ANU is like being in a mini United Nations with more than 100 countries and nationalities represented from all over the world. While you undertake your studies, you'll learn alongside academics who are leaders in their field, and you'll be in classes small enough to make meaningful connections with peers and teachers alike. And you get to do all of this on our beautiful bushland campus with a community of faculty and staff and classmates who want you to succeed. At the end of your degree, I know you will emerge as the best version of yourself, an extraordinary subject matter expert, an extraordinary citizen of the world, an extraordinary human being. Let us inspire you to make the ANU a home away from home, as it's been for many people, including me.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Basically, we have actually 100 over clubs and society. One of it is ANU Filipino Association. And the other one, we are talking about space today. We do have ANU Rocketry Club. And this club actually is very active. And they actually join a lot of the competition also as well. And one of the unique place at ANU is ANU Makerspace, where actually we have 3 makerspace across the campus, where even ANU rocket clubs actually we use some of these facilities to do the innovations or their printing and the I would say building up the rockets, things like that. In terms of ANU, we do have ANU Institute of Space. At ANU, we have roughly quite close to about 42 research institutes related to space, and ANU Institutes of Space actually kind of like in charge of most of the areas in the research itself. So basically, they actually engage with the global space industry. They actually work with also the state government, the federal government, and as well as international space agency like NASA, things like that. And the other thing also as well, at ANU Institute of Space, we do have ANU space infrastructure that actually costs about $200 million and across different ANU campuses also as well. And recently we won the Space Connect as the Australian National Space Award for the University of the Year. If you want to know more about ANU in space, there's a website here that you'll be able to actually look at. In terms of the ANU's in-space capabilities, we do have national state space facilities. If you can see here, it's really housed a lot of like kind of like world-class facilities from prototype testing, things like that. So this is one of the space facilities that we have actually on at ANU. And the other one actually we have on campus also as well is a heavy ion accelerator facilities. And this is one of the largest and highest energy ion accelerator located actually at ANU. And one of it is really basically, it's also one of the fastest actually ion accelerator in the world also as well. So a lot of researchers actually come to ANU to use this type of facilities itself. And the other kind of like capabilities we have is a National Space Qualification Network. And this is the one that actually look into the space qualification infrastructure, things like that. And of course, under this NSQN, actually is a consortium of the 6 founding partners across the whole Australia, including the industry also as well. And the other facilities that we have is Advanced Instrumental and Technology actually Center, actually located at the Mount Stromlo. These are all the different facilities that we have related to the astronomy, aerospace related program. And the other one actually also very popular, and even our students will do the actually kind of like field trip to the Siding Spring Observatory also as well. That is where it houses largest optical telescope in Australia itself. So you can see that a lot of different facilities actually available at ANU itself if you come to us. At ANU, we do offer variety of programs at the postgraduate level. We do have Master of Science in Astronomy and Astrophysics, Precision Instrumental Measurement, Earth Sciences, when we talk about Earth observation related, Theoretical Physics, Mathematics, Mathematical Science, Master of Science Communication, Master of Law, as well as, of course, the higher degree research that is Master of Philosophy or PhD. And if you can see the programs when we indicate the advanced options available, means that this program also cater for students who plan to do PhD program later, who do not have any research background at the undergraduate program or master. This is a kind of like conversion program to allow students to do a PhD later. So in terms of because I have to actually highlight two programs, top program in ANU, we do have Master of Science in Astronomy and Astrophysics. This program is a 2 years program offered in February or July intake. And basically, we do look at in terms of students who are planning to go for this program, we do require students to come from certain background. And in terms of the entry requirement, require 5 out of 7 in a 5-point scale, and for 7-point scale, 5 out of 7 point scale. And basically, we do require you to have actually completed about 8 courses related in the undergraduate program, and 2 of the courses undergraduate must cover physics and mathematics also as well. The other actually quite a good program for us that related to astronomy and astrophysics related is a Master of Science in Precision Instrumental and Measurement. Actually, this program itself, basically, you can see that AU do have a 2 spin-off company coming from all this precision instrumental focus. So basically, in this is also a 2 years program, but of course, students who are going for some programs that are under Austrade Awards that you have to finish within 1 year, there are possibility that students might get credit transfer, things like that. And again, these are February and July, and students must come from the physics and engineering background. And the entry requirement, if you can see, is 5 out of 7. And again, 8 courses that you have to done, but must be related to physics and engineering. And students must have completed certain mathematics related. In terms of conversion, in terms of the entry requirement from the postgraduate program, just as we mentioned, 5 out of 7. If your point scale is actually 5 out of 7 point scale in Philippines, we are looking at minimum 2.33 out of the 5 from your degree. And if you're going for the 4-point scale, we are looking at 2.67 out of the 4. That is the minimum entry requirement. And all these actually admissions will do the assessment based on your connect discipline and also other criteria. And at ANU also as well, you do hear about, you have PhilSA scholarship, you have Austrade Awards. Even ANU itself, we do offer Southeast Asia scholarship of Filipino students. When you put in your applications, it's automatically considered for the program, especially the postgraduate by coursework. And Filipino students will be eligible for 25% to 50% for the entire of the program if you're eligible. And we do have 200 on offers in 2026 next year. In terms of higher degree research, first thing we need to do is like whether you want to do PhD or Master of Philosophy, you need to find supervisor and submit. Once you get your supervisor identified, then you submit the applications with all these documents. And the process for higher degree research might take about 3 to 6 months if to get it all completed with an offers. Even at HDR also as well, and we do have scholarship for the full scholarship in terms of living costs in also stipend also as well. And this is a round of scholarship for the PhD or Master of Philosophy. And Crystal actually is Austrade Awards scholars, basically that actually been awarded to join ANU for the Master of Science Communication, and now actually she's now under ANU PhD scholarship to do PhD in the Science Communication. So you can see that the journey of our students coming from Austrade Awards that are actually doing the master, and then now he is actually on PhD scholarship at ANU itself. Okay, and this is my contact detail if you want to contact me, and feel free to actually add on us on the list if you want to get more updates from ANU itself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wyan. And now we'll quickly move on to our third university, which is the University of Southern Queensland. So I'm pleased to introduce Professor Melika Simul from UniSQ. Over to you, Professor Melika.
Thank you, and thanks everyone. And my name is Melissa Simul, and I'm a Chief Operating Officer actually for one of the largest space programs in Australia. I'm based at University of Southern Queensland, but I'm also happy that my presentation is actually after the ANU and University of South Australia, because we work with both of these universities, and I can definitely recommend those also for studies. I'm just going to share my screen quickly and present the program. So just give me the Okay, you can see my slides. So as I said, I launched Trailblazer is a very large space program that includes 3 universities. It's funded by co-funded by Australian government, and also has 30 plus partners. And today with me, I have Associate Professor Matt Richardson, who is our Director of Space Education Programs. And between two of us, we will give you a little bit of a flavor of what ILO Trailblazer is, how you can be involved, and how you can actually participate in our projects in all 3 universities, including University of Southern Queensland, which is based in Toowoomba in Queensland, University of South Australia, that's currently merging with Adelaide University, and you have heard from Adelaide University, and Australian National University, which is our prime partner as well. So how did we come about, basically, is that Australian government actually few years back ran a review of Australian universities and our ability to actually commercialize our IP with the industry. And what was quite striking at the time of the review is that we have a great education, but we are lacking a little bit in that kind of industry support and translation of our intellectual property into the Australian industries. So they created this program called Trailblazer Universities Program and awarded 6 Trailblazers awards to 6 universities, including University of Southern Queensland, to lead the space-specific Trailblazer program. So that's how I launched Trailblazer is born, and it's a partnership program based in Queensland, but touching on multiple strengths of universities across Australia. We have about 200 million partnerships. So we work with industry, we work with the government, and we work with other universities. And our goal is really to commercialize university IP, so all of the things that universities are really good in, and develop that into the products and services. And that can be quite challenging, but also quite appealing maybe for Philippines as well, to bring that experience back into the economy of Philippines. And we are very fast, so our delivery timelines are quite fast. We are 4-year program. We take projects that are quite advanced, so we don't take projects that are in early stages of technology development. We look at the ones that are quite mature and then invest a lot of funding through personnel, including students, to bring those projects to basically deployable products in space. And as I said, we are world class. We have universities such as Adelaide University, University of South Australia, and ANU, basically covering most of the Australian space sector as well. And on the bottom, you will see the areas that we specialized in, so materials, additive manufacturing, rocket launch, hypersonic, satellites, and communication and enabling capabilities. And most of the facilities actually sit in different universities. So you heard from ANU about their ANU in Space, the National Space Test Facility. You heard from Adelaide University about their resourcing lab. So we utilize all of these facilities to perform projects. So our students actually work in a cross-disciplinary domain and across universities. I mentioned that we have 3 universities and over 32 industry partners, so predominantly Australian small to medium businesses and also primes as well. And we have 3 or 4 pillars basically within our iLaunch Trailblazer program. We have a future skills pillar where basically we develop programs to boost the skills both in engineering but also science and multidisciplinarity. We start quite early. We have skill development for school kids, but also progressing through undergraduate degrees and then later on postgraduate degrees. We also have accelerator programs where we look at early stage technology readiness levels. So PhD students might be working on a specific topic, and we do have funding actually to accelerate that development and accelerate the TRL and proof of concept. And then we have our core commercialization projects where most of our PhD candidates would sit in. Those are very large multidisciplinary projects with industry partners, and they are designed by industry. So our projects are industry led. So not only that you will get an experience within the university sector and being part of the amazing universities, you will also get that industry experience as well. These are some of our partners. So you will see names like Axiom, Deloitte, Optus, Northrop Grumman, Boeing. So these are the big space companies that are based in Australia. Some are based in Adelaide, as we heard from Adelaide University. Some are based in other centers, but we work very closely on delivery of a specific product or hardware for these companies. This is just a geographical map to show you where things are located. We have lots of activity in Adelaide and Canberra, as you can see. Brisbane is also quite strong with additive manufacturing, and then we have also activities in Sydney and Melbourne. And as a PhD candidate enrolled within the iLaunch program, you'll be working across the Australian space ecosystem as well. In terms of opportunities with the University of Southern Queensland, we have a major opportunity around our space major that will become available in 2026. So this will be part initially of our Bachelor of Science, but we will also look at Bachelor of Engineering. You can study engineering with University of Southern Queensland, from agriculture to computer science, mechanical, civil, electrical, mining, and then you can take a space major and specialize as well in a space science as well. And then in terms of postgraduate opportunities, we have, as you heard from other two universities, master's degrees, PhDs, and also co-tutels. So co-tutels could be quite interesting for international students, where you can be enrolled in your organization in Philippines and also in Australia and get two degrees recognized and then spend time in each of the organizations. And they're quite effective as well, I think, in terms of student fees and just kind of supporting yourself while studying overseas. And also iLaunch offers several scholarships that can range from full scholarships with tuition fees covered and stipends to partial scholarships as well. And most of our students also work with industry and are based with industry partners. So just quickly, few teasers for PhD opportunities. So you can work as a PhD scholar or master student on our hypersonics project. So we have a group at University of Southern Queensland that looks at the airborne observation of hypersonics effects, and they have basically developed systems and technologies to capture basically re-entry of the objects through atmosphere. And most recently, you probably heard of the Varda two missions from Varda returning to Australia, where our teams were in the plane, kind of capturing the top or object that's entering at a very, very high speeds and capturing the basic spectral properties of that re-entry to then analyze that and build better materials for spacecrafts and identification of also spacecrafts re-entering from plumes and atmospheric stuff that's happening in the atmosphere that you can actually observe. Another one we do in advanced manufacturing is looking at digital twins for repairs of aircrafts, and that's a partnership with Boeing and University of Southern Queensland. So again, that's quite applicable for our space industry, but also for the space industry, and we have available scholarships there. Another one, again, in the materials, we have a partnership with CSIRO. We have quite elaborate equipment that we can use to 3D print metals for space application and also hypersonics. And again, there are PhD scholarships available as well on a material science side of space. And at ANU, so this is one of the ANU-led projects, we have a shortwave infrared space camera and hypersonic detection. So you heard from ANU colleagues that they have a big facility in the Research School of Astronomy and Astrophysics, and there is iLaunch funded project there that also has opportunities for PhD scholarships. You can also work on lunar missions, and again, colleagues from ANU have few PhD offers actually to work on the Artemis mission. This one in particular in front of us involves University of South Australia and a company called NTEX, and they're developing this radioactive heating unit that will be used to survive lunar nights, for example, for next lunar missions. And then on another spectrum, we have plant health monitoring. And South Australia is leading that development with University of Southern Queensland, where we're looking at health of plants in space, so that we can grow plants in space for sustainable living. And that project will actually go to the International Space Station via Axiom, who is our prime partner. And our latest mission that has been announced only a few weeks ago is with Optus telecom provider, where we are building one of the largest satellites for Australia with all 3 universities involved, and there will be scholarships again available through Optus and ANU to join this project as well. And then I will pass this to my colleague Matt Richardson to talk about space technology major, because Matt has been leading this development. So just to give you a flavor of what you can look in 2026 if you want to do your further studies at University of Southern Queensland. So Matt,
Sure.
This is for you.
Sure, thanks Melissa. So I recognise we're probably tight on time, so I'll try to be very quick here. I'm not sure how many people on the call are interested in undergraduate study, but we are doing some really exciting things with undergraduate study as well in space technology. We're introducing this new major, as Melissa said. It's initially at least in our Bachelor of Science degree, but we're also going to introduce it into our Bachelor of Engineering as well. It's designed as a secondary major, so if you are studying science, you could study something like astronomy or geospatial science, and then take space technology as a second major, so you have both. Similarly, in engineering, you could study something like mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, and take space technology as your second major. And as part of that major, we're looking at doing a whole bunch of exciting things, like learning about spacecraft design and development, and also manufacturing and assembly. You can see the CubeSat in the picture there. We've actually bought some of those training CubeSats, and you'll learn how to build those, learn how to do mission operations like trajectory planning and that sort of thing. We're hoping to get access to a mobile mission operations center that you can see there, a big truck with essentially a mission control in the back, so that we can do some sort of mock simulated mission launches and that sort of thing. So we're going to do a lot of really exciting stuff. If you could just jump to the next slide there, Melissa, please.
Well, give me a second, something else popped up now on my computer. Sorry. Oh, come on.
So just while that's coming up, so on this next slide here, you'll see the courses that are going to make up our new major, and this is really important, I think. If you are interested in space in particular, lots of universities in Australia offer aerospace engineering degrees, but I can tell you, having taken one of those degrees myself, they focus primarily on aeronautics. So if you're really interested in the space side of things and the astronautics and satellite design and mission planning and that sort of thing, we have a much stronger focus on that in our degree, so in our major. So we're going to have 6 of the 8 courses in the major essentially focused exclusively on space technology, building satellites, launching satellites, and doing mission planning and mission operations and that sort of thing. So that's basically all from me, Melissa, and I think that's the end of our slides as well.
That is the end of our slides. Here are details, and also as mentioned by my colleagues from ANU and Adelaide Uni, there are scholarships available on all 3 universities. Please do apply. I used to be international student on scholarship in Australia. It's a great place to work and live. So we hope to see your application shortly.
Absolutely. And just to add to that, Melissa, I used to be a researcher in Japan. I've worked with a lot of Filipino grad students in my time there. I'm very enthusiastic about the idea of Filipino students coming in and working and studying with us. I think that's a fantastic initiative from both of our governments.
Thank you so much, Melika and Matthew. And for sure, we have more than 100 guests here today, not including those joining from Facebook. So I am sure you will be inundated with applications in the next few weeks or months. Okay, so moving on to the next presenter, last but not least, please welcome Miss Wendy Zhang from the University of Sydney.
Good day, everyone from the University of Sydney. Thank you for having me on this webinar to speak about our space-related programs. So I do have a tight schedule, apparently, so I'll make it quick as well. But if anything, my details and information about this webinar will be available in a QR code at the very end of this presentation as well. As you can tell, the University of Sydney is Australia's first university. So we've had over 175 years to really develop our history and our legacy within Australia as well. And one thing we're very proud of is our investment in our international student cohort. We're currently ranked #1 in international student diversity, and we're currently also ranked number 25th in the world university overall on the QS rankings. Now, specifically speaking, some of the universities here, including the University of Sydney, is also highly regarded as one of the premier research intensive teaching universities in the nation as part of the GO8, which is equivalent to what you'd see as the UK's Russell Group or the US Ivy League universities. Now, specifically for the University of Sydney, we're very research intensive, where most of our money that we make is actually reinvested into the student experience and our research capabilities as well. And this includes in areas of space and planetary sciences. We do undertake a lot of fundamental and applied research in significant programs in astroseismology, biotech, human performance in space, space systems, autonomous detection and quantum sensing for PNT, and robotics and extraterrestrial deployment, as well as spectroscopy for Earth observation, amongst many other areas as well. We are quite well known for having quite a number of world-renowned interdisciplinary research centres, and I think you'd find as a culture as well, we focus a lot of interdisciplinary collaboration and research, where our goal is to ensure that you have not just the capacity to address challenges in the immediate future after you've graduated from your degree, but also those in the next 30 to 50 years in space exploration and research development in your country. So we're very proud to be kind of leaders in national space projects, as well as state space projects as well, including New South Wales Space Research Network, which we are a co-director, as well as having the Sydney Institute of Astronomy, which is a national international leader in astronomy and astrophysics based at the University of Sydney. We also have the Sydney Astrophotonic Instrumentation Laboratory, which for short for SAILS, and that is essentially 9 laboratories collaborating to look at photonic technologies, essentially, and how to apply them for development, as well as established technologies as well. Now, in a way of introducing the type of kind of degrees that are available in Australia, these kind of names might be very different to what you'd be used to in the Philippines. But this is a very short slide to really give you the biggest differences on what is a master's by coursework, for example, and what would be the difference to a PhD. And admissions-wise, across the board, our admissions is focused on having a undergraduate GPA and English proficiency at the very minimum for admissions, especially if you've obtained your bachelor degree from the Philippines. At the University of Sydney, our high degree by research PhD is very similar to the ANU sort of model in terms of admission, where you have to have a supervisor first in order to be able to endorse your project. And then from there, it takes about 6 to 12 months preparation for you to really develop an application that you can then submit for acceptance by the faculty. Now, a note that between all the universities, the GPA conversions can be very different. So it's really, really good idea for you after this presentation to really reach out to each of us to actually check what the GPA is, what the admissions requirements are individually, because we all have different sort of steps and processes that may apply to you. Now, specifically to our Masters by Coursework research areas in space, for example, and this is for those typical set curriculum type of degrees, we do have space engineering that is available to students over a 2 or 3 year period, depending on what your actual background is. So if you do have a background in engineering already, then, for example, we actually have a degree that has that credited and acknowledges that in our Professional Engineering Accelerated course in aerospace engineering. And our aerospace engineering courses are a combination of aeronautical, mechanical, and mechatronic engineering studies, specifically in space. Now, incidentally, the University of Sydney is also the only university with a dedicated undergraduate space specialisation so we mean our pipeline extends from undergraduate, postgraduate, and research areas in this area as well. Within the law areas, for anyone who's interested in international space law, our expert Dr. Rebecca Connolly is teaching the international space law units within the Master of Environmental Law or the Masters of International Law. So each of these degrees are 1 year and therefore broad specialties in law, doesn't require legal background, and legal and non-legal background students are welcome to actually study these as part of their interdisciplinary upskilling. For our high degree by research kind of degrees in space and astrophysics, and that's if you're trying to pursue something more specialized, for example, into a very, very niche area within space and astrophysics, we do offer the Master of Philosophy and the PhD in Sciences and Engineering. These are just some of our research areas that are currently happening at the moment under each sort of faculty, where it's astrophotonics, hybrid propulsion systems, fiber optic photonics engineering, or wave particle interactions. Those are the type of research that is currently being conducted by our PhD students. And for yourself, if you have a different idea or a different niche that you're looking to focus on, we very much welcome that as part of our research caliber and students, because our supervisors will work with you to develop those ideas over a 2 to 3 year period for you to produce that actual thesis at the end of your journey as well. Now, that's a very quick snapshot of what is available at the University of Sydney, but I did want to take some time to highlight what the university colleagues and academics that you'll be potentially learning from actually do at the university as well. Now, some of the projects that we are involved in include having launched 2 CubeSats last year as part of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launch. And these CubeSats were aimed to actually expand the New South Wales space tech and research capabilities in new space technologies and probably gain a better understanding of our space environment as well. And we were split into 2 teams at the University of Sydney to work on each CubeSat. They were successfully launched last year, and they're collecting data actively right now and using that as part of their research. Incidentally, as I mentioned, we do have a very, very strong pipeline of undergraduate students moving into space engineering as well. And those students are also part of the USAID rocketry team, which has beaten more than 150 international teams to win this year's world's largest university rocket engineering competition. Previously, we were gold in the American Space Cups in 2022, but we do a lot in terms of investing in our students to be involved in these projects, whether you're an undergraduate student or postgraduate student or research student as well. Now, if you're interested in a bit more of space law, we do have a number of different hosting opportunities, especially on campus as well. Last year, we were the host of the UniSyd Space Law and Policy Conference, which we're inviting experts from Australia and New Zealand to get together in a single place to really discuss and tackle challenges in space law and policy in a Australian and New Zealand context, as well as a global context as well. And having these experts in a single room together and learning from them is, as you might be aware, very invaluable in really building that capacity and networking opportunity as well. We've also been recently awarded a $5 billion research grant from the Australian government for high-speed propulsion and rocket launch research systems, which is boosting our kind of technical resilience and sustainability in defence, because we work a lot in defence, government, and international space projects as well. Now, if you are interested in actually applying to the university, the academic year for us matches with the Ad Astra as well as the Australia Awards sort of application periods, where we start our semester in February or August, depending on what degree you're doing, especially for Masters by coursework. And then based on if you're looking at PhD or Master by philosophy, we actually take applications all year round. So regardless of when or where you apply for the Ad Astra or the Australian Awards scholarships, we are able to actually take you on throughout the year for 4 intakes as well. And as part of that, we do really want to stress that we are investing heavily in student support at the university as well. And throughout your entire time with us, we have a dedicated team looking after our sponsored students. And we heavily encourage the students to use these resources to really network, make friends, and actually explore life outside of the classroom, because you're not just here to build that capacity and capability, but you're here to make friends, network, and really explore what Australian industry has on offer for you. Now, if you have any questions, especially if you are interested in any of our programs, please feel free to contact me. I am an alumni of the university as well, having done a science degree here. You contact me by email or by WhatsApp. Otherwise, you can also scan the QR code for more information about course details. I also have a one-on-one consultation link on there as well for anyone who is seriously interested in learning a bit more about us. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much, Wendy. So now that you've heard from our 4 universities, from PhilSA and Australia Awards, I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Please, just a reminder, you could drop your questions into our either chat box or Q&A. But while you're still typing or still thinking about questions, some of you have already sent in their questions through the registration form. So let me go through them, and please bear with me. We're gonna make this quick because I know that we were supposed to end at 10, but just give us a few more minutes. I have a question for Marco from PhilSA. There's a question about, can non-PhilSA staff apply for PhilSA the Ad Astra scholarships?
Well, certainly, Filipino students are actually invited to apply to the Ad Astra scholarship. We have eligibility criteria. I didn't share it because of time limits, but we invite you to check out our website. As long as you're a Filipino with relevant program, if you are admitted to a university and to a program that is relevant to our priority areas, then you can apply to the Ad Astra scholarships.
Thanks, Marco. And just for clarification, what is the application process? Will prospective scholars need to apply first with the Australian University before applying for the Ad Astra scholarship? Can you quickly take us through that?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Kim. That's actually a great question. So one of the eligibility requirements in the Ad Astra scholarship is to first the student has to be admitted to the university. So a proof of acceptance will be submitted to us as part of the full application package. So you have to check out first the calendar of the university you're trying to get into and apply first and secure the admission first before applying to the Ad Astra scholarship.
Thanks, Marco. And for Australia Awards, Rolly, can you take us quickly through the application process? Will the scholars apply to the Australia Awards first before applying to the Australian universities?
Well, for Australia Awards, you don't need an admission for an Australian university. You can actually apply first for Australia Awards scholarships, and then we will help you get admission to Australian uni. So that's the good thing about Australia Awards. You don't also need a language proficiency result yet. So get and apply for scholarship first before you take the IELTS or other English proficiency exam. We will help you navigate through that as well.
Okay. There is a question through the chat about age limit. So I know that the Australia Awards do not have age limit, but for Ad Astra, Marco? Sorry, you're on mute, Marco.
There you go. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we do have certain age limits for the Ad Astra. So if you are trying to study master's or doctorate, you must be not more than 45 years old at the time of application. And if you are to avail of the standalone sandwich program, you should not be more than 50 years old to be eligible.
Okay, great. Okay, so now that we've answered that question, can we go through each university, please, and just check how could they apply for the programs with Australian universities? What's your preference? Like, what is step one? Can we start with Harris, please, from Adelaide University?
Yeah, sure. In regards of the application process, Kim, we would advise students to check with our agency representative in Philippines because there are several GSR requirements that they need to fulfill. So unfortunately, for Philippines, application should be submitted through our agency representative. But I mean, of course, for prestigious scholarships like Australia Awards, they supposed to apply to Australia Awards directly, and the team will help them to get the letter of acceptance. But for students who wants to independently apply, they need to contact our agency representative. Hope that helps.
Thanks, Harris. And for ANU?
Basically, for ANU, we do allow students to apply through authorized agent that is actually appointed by ANU, as well as actually students can apply directly to ANU also as well, depending on their preference. So basically, they can actually apply direct using our website and submit applications. And of course, we do recommend students to go through agent because eventually, if you need help in terms of like, visa later part, all those things, they will be able to assist the students. Yeah.
Thank you. For Uni SQ, I'm not sure who will answer. Karen ba?
I think I can it's a similar
Okay.
answer as the other two unis. So the country representatives are probably the best starting point. For I-Launch scholarships, they are usually advertised and then you follow the link and follow the requirements in the link. But, kind of from the personal experience, I think, kind of it's nothing stops students also directly contacting, kind of lead scientists on the projects that are advertised as available scholarships on the projects as well. So that can also help just kind of having that first contact and choosing your topic and project as well. So I think both ways are quite good, but probably in country reps are kind of they're in country and you can ask them any questions you have about just the eligibility requirements.
Thanks, Malika. And lastly, for Wendy, please, UniSid.
Yeah, so it's pretty similar to what AU described. You are able to actually apply for both postgrad and the PhD direct or with an agent. We do recommend the agent specifically around the student visa processing, but also, as Harris said, the genuine student assessment requirements, especially if you're over probably around, if you're over 35, then that becomes sort of a visa flag essentially that students need to be aware of at some point as well. So the agent is really helpful in that in those scenarios. But otherwise, if you are interested, you can still actually apply directly to us in that case. So it is up to your preference, but we do recommend the agent in these areas.
Thanks so much. And for everyone, there's a list of available agents or official partnered agents of these universities on their website. So you can check out each of their websites and look for their partner agencies. And maybe just one more question. Is there an alignment of hang on, sorry. So should there be an alignment of master's degree and PhD necessary to be qualified in the scholarship? A question for Marco and Rolly.
All right. I think I'll go first. Is there an alignment? Actually, one of the eligibility requirements again for the ADAS scholarship is for you to have a relevant bachelor's or master's degree to the program you're trying to get into. So there should be an alignment of sorts, primarily because the research plan you'll propose as part of your application process will be evaluated as well by the scholarship committee. So part of the assessing your competence would be to see if there's an alignment to the program you finished and how you can translate that into pushing for your research plan.
And Rolly for Australia Awards?
Well, for Australia Awards, we're looking at 3 selection criteria for you to be successful as Australia Award Scholar. We're looking at academic performance, professional experience, and third is your ability to contribute back to the Philippines through your re-entry action plan. So in relation to space science and technology, we're also looking at how your undergrad contributes to that and your existing professional experience. So that will actually help you successfully get the scholarship program. And as I'd like to reiterate that we don't have age limit for Australia Award Scholarship Program. And if you do have an existing master's degree in the Philippines, for example, it doesn't prevent you from applying another master's degree in Australia, as long as you can justify that you need that particular competency for you to get another master's degree level in relation to space science and technology.
Thank you so much. Okay, last question. A quick yes or no. Is there a return service obligation for these scholarships? Yes or no?
For the Australia Awards, you have to go back to the Philippines and contribute what you have gained from Australia for at least 2 years. So that's the minimum.
Thanks, Rolly. And for Ad Astra?
For Adasha, yes, we have this thing called workforce integration period. So scholar graduates need to be part of the local workforce for for the year equivalent, the number of years equivalent to the scholarship support given to local scholars. But for international scholars, that's twice as long.
I see. Guys, I am so sorry, but that's all the time we have for Q&A. We will work together with PhilSA to answer the rest of your questions and get them to you after this webinar. But if you're looking for more information about studying in Australia, you could visit our website, www.studyaustralia.gov.au. We have a dynamic course search on our homepage where you could search for courses, scholarships, education providers, and more. It shows entry requirements, average tuition fees, etc. So a huge thank you to our friends from the Philippine Space Agency, all our Australian university representatives, and of course, all of our guests today for joining us as part of the Philippine Space Week. Before we end this session, let me hand over to Attorney Noel Riza Castillo for her closing remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As we wrap up today's webinar on space programs and postgraduate opportunities with Australian universities, let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible journey we've shared over the past few hours. In celebration of Philippine Space Week, we came together not just to talk about space programs and postgraduate opportunities, but to dream, to connect, and to imagine what's possible when nations and individuals unite in the pursuit of knowledge and exploration. On behalf of the Space Policy and International Cooperation Bureau of the Philippine Space Agency, I extend our deepest gratitude to our partners in this activity, the Australian Trade and Investment Commission, Australia Awards, and the Australian Embassy in Manila for their unwavering support and collaboration. To our esteemed speakers from the Australian National University, Adelaide University, University of Southern Queensland, and University of Sydney, thank you for generously sharing your expertise and opening doors to new possibilities for our aspiring Filipino space professionals. To everyone who joined us today, students, educators, researchers, and space enthusiasts, thank you for your curiosity, your questions, and your passion. You are the heart of Yamang Kalawakan. You are the reason we continue to build bridges across borders to create opportunities like the Ad Astra Scholarship Program and to invest in a future where Filipino talent shines on the global stage. Let this webinar be more than just an event. Let it be a spark, a reminder that the universe is vast, and so are the opportunities waiting for you. Whether you're just beginning your journey or already charting your course in space science and technology and applications, know that you are not alone. We are here to support you, to guide you, and to cheer you on as you reach for the stars. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang yamang kalawakan. And may your dreams always be as boundless as the cosmos. Thank you.
And that concludes our session for today. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, Kim. Bye.
Thanks, Kim.